All right, so get this. We're diving into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Oh, yeah, a classic.
but with a twist.
Okay, I like twists.
So we're going to see how this whole like financial freedom thing from the book, how it plays out, in the world of AI.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good question, right?
The Kiyosaki wrote this back when the internet was barely a thing.
I know, right? No social media, no crypto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like how much of it still holds up? And that's where Notebook LM comes in.
I see where you're going with this.
Right. This AI from Google, it can like summarize stuff, analyze information.
So we're going to use it to, like, put Rich Dad, Poor Dad to the test.
Basically. Yeah. So like can this AI actually help you escape the rat race and all that, build assets and whatnot?
I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay. So for anyone who maybe hasn't cracked open Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Or it's been a while.
Yeah. Remind us of the whole premise here.
Okay, so the book is all about this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, and he had like two dads, right?
The famous two dads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His biological dad was the poor dad,
Mhm.
worked a steady job, valued security,
The classic story.
but he never really got ahead financially.
Right. Always struggling.
And then there was his friend's father, the rich dad. He was an entrepreneur.
So like total opposite mindset.
Totally. And he's the one who taught Kiyosaki
Yeah.
about business, about making money work for him.
Not the other way around.
Exactly. And Kiyosaki argues that this rich dad thinking it's like completely missing from our education system.
Yeah, we're taught to be good employees, not to understand how money really works.
Right. And that's where I think this whole AI thing gets really interesting.
Okay, so how do we even start to like connect Rich Dad, Poor Dad with an AI?
Okay, so imagine you're reading that chapter about assets versus liabilities.
Okay, the one where he says your house isn't really an asset.
Yeah, that one. So you could literally ask Notebook LM, give me examples of unconventional assets I could build today.
Ooh, that's a good one. Because Kiyosaki's examples are all like from the 90s.
Totally. So the AI could pull in things like building an online audience, creating digital products, maybe even NFTs.
Well, hold on, NFTs, are those even assets?
That's the thing, right? It's a conversation. It's about prompting the AI to make you think differently.
Okay, I'm starting to see this.
It can bridge the gap between these timeless principles and the modern world.
All right, but let's be real for a sec. Saying your house is a liability, that's a pretty bold statement.
It's definitely controversial. A lot of people consider homeownership like the cornerstone of building wealth.
Right. So how do we use this AI to like have a more nuanced conversation about that?
So you can ask Notebook LM to summarize Kiyosaki's arguments against homeownership as a primary asset.
Okay.
But then you also ask it to pull in recent data on like average home appreciation rates in your area.
So you're using the AI to play devil's advocate.
Exactly. You're getting both sides of the argument.
That's smart. It's like having a debate partner who has read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and like a ton of up-to-date financial research.
And this is just scratching the surface. We haven't even talked about how it can help you brainstorm side hustles.
Or analyze the whole cash flow quadrant thing.
Right. There's so much to explore here.
All right, well, hold that thought because we've got a lot more to unpack.
Definitely.
When we come back, we'll dive even deeper into how this AI can be your personal rich dad coach.
I like it. Let's do it.
So we were just talking about, using Notebook LM to kind of challenge some of the assumptions in Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, getting that like deeper analysis.
But one thing Kiyosaki really stresses is the whole financial education piece.
Oh, totally. Like, it's not enough to just earn money.
Right.
Got to understand how it works.
You got to be financially literate.
Exactly. And I feel like back in the day, that meant like going to seminars, reading tons of books.
Yeah, lots of workshops.
But now with an AI that can process information like this,
It's a game changer.
right, like could Notebook LM actually speed up that learning curve?
I think so, for sure. Think about it. Let's say you're reading about Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant.
Okay, yeah, the whole ESBA thing.
Exactly. And you're kind of lost, like, what does it all mean?
It can be a bit abstract.
Right. You could ask Notebook LM to break it down for you, compare each quadrant.
Oh, that's cool. Even find real-world examples of people who fit those categories today.
So it's bringing it to life.
Exactly. Making it more concrete.
Okay, so that's understanding the concepts. But what about actually putting them into action?
That's the next step, right?
Like, Kiyosaki is big on minding your own business.
Building that asset column.
But they can be so overwhelming. Like, where do you even start?
It is. It's easy to get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Totally.
But with Notebook LM, you could have it analyze different side hustle markets.
Oh, that's smart.
See what's trending.
Right.
Maybe even draft a basic business plan.
Based on, like, your skills and interests.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of it.
Okay, but what if you're not trying to be the next, like, entrepreneur superstar?
Right. Some people just want to manage their money better.
Yeah, like just align their finances with the rich dad philosophy.
Totally. And Notebook LM can help there too.
Really? How so?
Well, think about budgeting. Kiyosaki talks about paying yourself first.
Investing before spending.
Exactly. So you could have Notebook LM analyze your current spending
See where the money's going.
and then suggest a budget that allocates funds towards asset building.
Based on the book's principles.
Right. It's like a custom-tailored financial plan.
That's amazing. It's like having a rich dad in your pocket.
And let's not forget the motivational aspect, right? Like, let's say you're feeling discouraged.
Yeah, like this is all too much.
You could ask Notebook LM to pull up success stories.
Of people who actually applied Kiyosaki's ideas.
Exactly. And saw real results. It's like proof that it works.
Okay, I'm starting to get really excited about this. The possibilities are endless.
They really are. It's about using this technology to empower yourself.
All right, so we've talked about the theory, the tools, but now I want to see how this works in real life.
Yeah, let's get into some real-world examples.
Because I'm sure there are people out there who've taken Kiyosaki's advice and actually seen that rich dad success.
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazing how diverse these stories are.
Okay, so we were just talking about real-world success stories, like people who've actually used rich dad, poor dad to,
Make it happen.
yeah, make it happen.
Yeah.
So, like, what are some examples?
Okay, so there's this woman, Michelle Schroeder Gardner. She used Rich Dad, Poor Dad to build this huge blog about personal finance.
Out of the blog.
Yeah, and it made her millions. Like, she's talking serious cash.
Whoa, so it's not just about real estate or starting a traditional business.
Right, like the principles they can apply to all sorts of things, especially in the online world.
Okay, but she's like a superstar blogger. What about regular people, like someone working a 9 to 5 feeling stuck?
That's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, how so?
Well, Kiyosaki talks about building that asset column.
Right, even if it's just starting small.
Exactly. And Notebook LM can help bridge that gap between, like, the idea and actually doing it.
So, like, if I'm that person listening right now, I've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'm pumped up.
But you don't know where to start.
Yeah, exactly. What's the first thing I should ask this AI?
Okay, so here's a good one. Based on my current skills and interests, what side hustles align with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad philosophy?
Oh, that's good because it's like personalized advice,
Right. It's taking into account your unique situation.
not just giving you some generic list.
Exactly. It's about having a conversation with the AI.
Okay, so let's say I've brainstormed some ideas, maybe even started a little side hustle. What's next?
Well, how about tracking your progress?
Oh, yeah. Kiyosaki's big on understanding your cash flow.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you could feed all your income and expenses into Notebook LM.
And it can analyze it.
Yep. See if you're actually following the Rich Dad principles.
Like, is my money working for me or am I still stuck in that rat race?
Exactly. And here's the thing. Most of us don't even look at that data.
Yeah, we're too busy with the day-to-day.
But an AI can spot those patterns.
Show you where you could be more rich dad about things.
Precisely. And it can help you set goals based on the book. Like, let's say you want to start investing.
Okay.
You tell Notebook LM how much you want to invest by when,
Yeah.
and it can suggest steps based on Kiyosaki's advice.
This is wild. It's like having a financial advisor and a coach all in one.
Right. It's pretty powerful stuff.
But let's be honest, there are people who aren't sold on Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Of course. It's not for everyone.
Yep.
Some of his ideas are controversial.
Yeah, for sure.
But even if you disagree with parts of it.
the process itself is still valuable.
Exactly. Using Notebook LM to really analyze the ideas, apply them, and track your progress, that's beneficial no matter what.
So even if you're not like a diehard Rich Dad fan, you can still get something out of this.
Absolutely. It's all about becoming more financially literate, taking control of your future.
And that's something we can all get behind.
For sure.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the age of AI.
It's been a fun one.
It has. We hope you learned something new and, more importantly, that you feel empowered.
To take charge of your finances.
Yeah, because with tools like Notebook LM, you really can make those Rich Dad dreams a reality.
So go out there, keep learning, and keep building that bright financial future.
You got it. Don't